few months ago, I heard a story that absolutely wrecked my life. I mean, it gave me a new vision for what it means to really follow Jesus and do what He's called me to do. And so today, I really simply just want to share that story with you and share how it impacted my life. And my prayer is that this story would impact you in the same way. The story came back in the 1950s during the Korean War. And as many of you know, the Korean War was a horribly bloody war. But there were some amazing heroes that emerged during that time. Some of them were doctors and nurses. Now, these doctors and nurses were trained in incredible ways to, heal the sick and to take care of the wounds of the soldiers and to try to bind their wounds in any way they could. And they were saving people left and right. I mean, these men and women left the comforts of their home in America and went to Korea in the middle of the war to help take care of soldiers. Now, once they got there, they realized really quickly that they weren't able to take care of everyone that came in. What they realized was that some guys were so bad when they came in, they were so badly wounded that there was nothing they could do to save them. And while they were working on the ones that they couldn't save, there were other young men, young soldiers, that could have been saved that ended up dying because they didn't have time to work on them. And so the doctors and the nurses created a system, and it was a color system. So every time a soldier would come in, they would give that soldier a color and put that color tag on the soldier's boot. And so let me tell you the system, that way you know exactly kind of how this works, all right? The very first color was blue. If you were injured in the Korean War, you wanted blue. Blue meant it wasn't that bad. They could give you some medicine, tie you up, and everything would be fine. It wasn't that bad at all. And you were gonna be completely fine, get to go home, everything peachy. The second color, which was much more serious, was yellow. Yellow meant they thought you had a chance, but they needed to get you to surgery immediately. They needed to take care of you right away. And so if you didn't get blue, you wanted yellow because that means at least you had a chance. The last color that you didn't want was red. If a soldier came in and he was too badly wounded and had lost too much blood, they would give a red color to that soldier. And what red meant was this: there's nothing we can do to help you. And at that point, a nurse would come with a shot of morphine and give an injection in the soldier's arm, and within 8 seconds, the soldier would die a peaceful death. They didn't want him to suffer. They knew there was nothing they could do, and that was the best they could do to help him out. And so one day, here's the story, okay? One day a young soldier came in wounded, and it was bad. The doctor saw him. He looked at him on the stretcher, and the doctor backed away and said, there's nothing I can do. And so he put on his chart a big red X. And then a second nurse came by, and she put a red tag on this soldier's boot. And then finally, the third nurse came who had the injection of morphine. And remember, this injection would kill him within 8 seconds. I mean, he was getting ready to die. There was nothing the doctors could do. And as soon as this nurse got the injection close to his arm, he woke up and grabbed her hand. And this soldier said this: "Listen, I know I'm gonna die, but I need you to tell my family something. I promised my wife that I would come home. I promised my kids that I would come home. I need you to tell them that I'm sorry. I'm sorry that I couldn't make it." And with tears in his eyes, he's grabbing, pleading with this nurse just to tell his family that he loves them and that he's sorry. That nurse had never had anything like that happen to her before. She began to cry. She looked around both ways. Nobody was around. She took her scissors and she snipped the red tag off of his boot, put a yellow tag on, and sent him to surgery. She wasn't supposed to do that. That could have cost the life of somebody else that really could have been saved. The doctor had already said there's no hope for this guy. There's nothing we can do. But she did it anyway, out of her love and compassion. A week went by, 2 weeks went by, a few months went by. She didn't hear anything. She thought the soldier had probably died, but she said, "At least I did something." Several months later, helicopters came to her tent, to her site, and they landed right next to the place that she was working. Out of the helicopter stepped a 5-star general, the highest rank that you could have during that time. And he stepped out and he gave an order to everybody around. He said, "Listen, I need to meet with everybody here right now, every soldier, every doctor, every nurse." And so everybody ran as quick as they could to the tent of this general. They walked in, the general was there, they saluted him, and they all sat down. And then the 5-star general, he pulled up a clipboard that had a big red X on it. And he said, several months ago, a young soldier came through here that had a red X. He was supposed to die, and somebody changed his tag. Somebody changed him from red to yellow. Who did it? It was against protocol. The nurse got scared. She thought she was in big trouble. She had disobeyed orders, and she could be really in deep, deep trouble with the government. And so then again, the general, he yelled. He said, "Who did it?" And finally, this little nurse, she raised her hand, put her head down, and said, "Sir, it was me. I remember I did that." And he said, "It was you?" She said, "Yes, sir." And the story says that this 5-star general ran at this woman with all that he had. It says that when he was a few feet from her, he dropped to his knees and fell down and crawled the rest of the way to this woman. He grabbed her hand with tears in his eyes and looked into her eyes and said, "That was my son. You saved my son. He's now at home with his wife and kids because you changed his tag. Thank you." Listen, you and I have been called by Jesus to be tag changers. This woman, the doctor said that this man had no hope. There was no hope for him. He was going to die. He was going to be lost forever. And this woman, with her courage and her love and her compassion, changed his tag from red to yellow, from death to life, from lost to found. And please, I'm begging you, okay? I'm begging you that there are people in the world right now that everyone has said they have no hope. They are lost. They are broken. They are dying. They are done. And Jesus has given us the opportunity to go and to change their tags, to share the eternal gospel with them, to take them from death to life, from lost to found, from hell to heaven. I mean, don't you understand? We can change the eternal destination of people's souls by changing their tag from death to life. When we bring them the gospel of Jesus, when we tell them about His love, they can experience the love and the forgiveness of Jesus if we go and if we do it. Before Jesus left to go back to heaven, He gave us a command. He said, "I want you to go and make disciples of all nations. I want you to preach my word everywhere that you go." In other words, He said, "I want you to be tag changers. I want you to go and I want you to take the love and the life of my Father in heaven to everybody that you can." And so friends, wherever you're at right now, whatever you're doing, there are people all around you that have no hope. They feel like they're broken and they're dying. Like the young soldier on the table, they have a red tag on their boot and they're waiting to end their lives. They're waiting just to be done with this world. And you have the hope. You have the hope of Jesus. And so may we go and change as many tags as we possibly can. May we go and love those that no one else is loving. May we touch those that no one else is touching. And may we set the captives free. Jesus said, "I came not for the healthy but the sick. I came to seek and save the lost." I came to change tags. And He's given us that same mission right now. And so whatever you're doing, wherever you're at, may we surrender all that we have to the feet of Jesus and say, "Jesus, make me a tag changer for your glory." And may we change as many tags as we possibly can for His glory and for the love of Jesus. God bless you as you go and be a tag changer for His name.